Okay, hello guys, and in this episode I'm back to explain exactly how the zigzag strategy works. Now in the previous video I did the setup of the zigzag strategy, and I promised that I will be coming back with the explanation how the zigzag strategy can be implemented and used in IQ option to make daily profits 100% guaranteed. So today I'm back with this tutorial to explain more about that zigzag strategy and how exactly it can be used to make on a profit. So let's just start away. First of all, let me just use one chart for a clear explanation. Okay, we shall do one chart, then we shall anyway start with a 12-hour interval, then as trickle down to the more small intervals up to 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, like that. For the start, let's start with the big intervals. Okay, let me now switch. Probably if you're new to this video and you don't know how to set up the zigzag strategy, I will put a link in the description to the other previous video that will help you to set up the zigzag strategy. Then after that you come back here and we continue with our explanation of how to use the strategy. Okay, so I think we can start off. Okay, so this is our zigzag. I will first of all remove this, which is the market. Now later put the market back and try to explain how it correlates with the zigzag and how we use it with the zigzag. Now I will try to also to enlarge this such that we can see what exactly is taking place. These are my candlesticks. Normally they might differ from the normal candlesticks. Most people use it to this type of candlesticks, to the bars actually. Some other people are used to these, and some others are used to a line, but I normally use the hurricane ash candlestick. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look at this zigzag. So indicator actually 1, 2, 3, 4. There are actually 4 indicators: zigzag 100, zigzag 60, and zigzag 38. Later on we shall be adding a zigzag 7 that gives us an immediate movement in the market prices. Okay, anyway, so for the start, let's start with this one. Let's first identify their colors. For zigzag 100, its color is actually pure maroon and green. So apply that one. So you have to first make sure that they all have different colors for clear identification. Okay, yeah, this is 38. Yeah, zigzag 38, which is completely different from zigzag 100. So they must be so different so that you don't confuse. I was thinking, look at zigzag 60. Now zigzag 60 has to have a complete difference from the rest of the zigzags. So to do that, we need to make it completely different. Make this pale. Actually, this one is not like that. Should be around this. Make it a little bit pale. Just have to make sure that they are completely different. Okay, let's go on to this one. Make it a little bit deeper, such that it can be completely different. Okay, so finally we do apply our changes, and therefore, but mainly we shall be considering zigzag 100 as our main movement, so we need to hyperimpose it on top in any case, such that they don't hover over and end up masking it. So we need to see its changes clearly. So looking at our history, this is our zigzag 100, just like you can see. Now you see that at this point, for example, let me just start from where will this be enough? I can start from here. Let me just start from here. Using a zigzag 100. Once it comes, maybe it's actually better if I remove all the other zigzags and we deal with zigzag 100 only, because it kind of gives a better picture. Okay, now we have on the zigzag 100 being implemented. Now you can see that it really identifies the market changes very fast. Now once this green comes, it came at this point, probably at this point. So this green here was an indication of an uptrend. So it was predicting a future uptrend that was actually taking place. Now after this came, you can see that this green line came at this point, and after it coming, we saw that we started a very good uptrend. So probably this line here, the zigzag green line, anticipated a very good uptrend, and you were able to make too much profit here, probably 200%. Now as we headed over into an uptrend, it brought another line at this point, and you can realize the line pairs with the resistances. Once you have a resistance that is preventing you from moving from any further downtrend, you will also have a zigzag green coming in, saying that now we're not moving into any further downtrend, we are now switching to an uptrend. So likewise, when the uptrend is done, you will experience a resistance that is actually preventing you from moving from any further uptrend, and likewise you have the zigzag bringing your color red, and this red would mean that we shall be experiencing a downtrend in the future. The magnitude of the downtrend might as well be determined by other factors, just like I said. That's why we use it in combination with other indicators, though it can really do it alone. It can trade alone if you have it's a profit or an auto close, take profit of about 5%, or actually it's 5 to 10%. So that's what I can guarantee. If you want to be using only zigzag 100, you must have a take profit of 10% and below. You don't have to exceed an auto close of 10%, because if you probably were using 10% from this point here where it came to about this point here where it was changing direction, it had given you even more than 50%. So probably if you had 10%, it had closed you as early as possible. So from this point, we experienced another green coming in, showing that you're gonna be having some uptrend that is coming over. So you can see that that's what happened here. It kind of, the market prices kind of increased, and that was an anticipation of this green line red. So likewise, if you entered with a take profit of 10%, you are able to close in 10%. Likewise, here now we had another red coming, indicating a further downfall in the market prices, and that really happened. And actually at this point you might have earned between 200-500%. So now what makes the difference between big falls and small falls, yet they're all anticipated or indicated by the same indicator, which is 100? So what makes it say that probably this would be a very big uptrend? You saw it from here, so probably made a lot of profit. Now this was zigzag red coming in into a solid green, but it really did a very good downtrend, though it was in a complicated market. So that's what we call the market, the one that I had just removed, but I will be putting it back again so that we can go on and explain more and more. So let me now that you understand how the zigzag 100 comes, color green is actually a color code for an uptrend or an increase in market prices, and color red is an indication of a downtrend or a decrease in market prices of that commodity, of that asset. Okay, so now that you know how the zigzag works, let's go ahead and talk about something else. Probably we can add now, zigzag is more perfect if it's used in combination. So we combine zigzag 100 and zigzag 60 and zigzag 38. But next, let me first put zigzag 60 and you see how it works in combination with a zigzag 100. So you can see that at this point they merged these points. Where they merge, you have a maximum effort. It's like 60% of the market is doing that same thing, and also up to 100% of the market they are doing that same thing. So you kind of have a very big probability of about 100% that the market is going to be moving in that direction that the zigzag has anticipated. For example, at this point they came together, so it had to be a significant move up to, so probably from here to here. This was a very big uptrend, by the way. You might have probably made about 30 to 40%, actually even 50% out of the market. Now they have to support each other. They have to be on the same side in order to use them as supporters. For example, you have zigzag in red and zigzag 100 in red and zigzag 60 in green at this point. So it means don't enter. You have to wait until zigzag 60 brings the red and agrees with this red. So when they pair, this is the effect of its pairing. You can see right now we're heading into a very good downtrend. Okay, so you can bring in more. Also, you can include the 38. And you will find that the 38 is actually also doing the same thing. It pairs along, so it kind of checks you that yes, you have an entry, but kind of wait a little bit until I check you or I give you the final person or the final decision to go. So it's kind of a check. So it's first 100, next is 60, and then 38. The very best point to enter is a point at which all the three are in one color. Now, maybe one thing that I never told you about, my 38, yellow represents a downtrend and blue represents an uptrend. So I'm just changing color because to make sure that they don't have the same color, they don't confuse me. Okay, so that's it. So like at this point, they are all in one color: red, 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 red for 38, red for 60, red for 100. So it means that we shall be, that's an absolute downtrend. Actually, it started a long time ago. It started a couple of hours ago. So for probably if somebody who was available must have made profits by now, it's been about 50% because this bar is all profits. So let's go ahead and talk about their combination with other indicators, which is actually the awesome oscillator. Just like I said, if you don't know where I'm getting all these indicators, how I'm applying them, you check a link in the description for that video, how to set up the strategy, and later you come back continue. So some oscillator shouldn't be like this, should be the other way around. Okay, we have also oscillator 136.14 period. Its first slope, the slope period is 136 and the first period is 14. Then we also have another awesome oscillator where the slope period is 65 and the first period is 7. And finally the awesome oscillator where the slope period is 34 and the first period is 2. So if you look at our history here, and you see how exactly we are transpiring, trying to see what we are trying to do, how we're going to be using this for our benefit. So for example, now here you had the zigzag. I'm starting from this point as an example. You had the zigzag green coming in, implicating that we're gonna be heading over for an uptrend in a couple of hours to come. So let's look at the market. What was the market doing? At that point, the market was completely in red, meaning that they had not given him an entry or not confirmed him that he's actually a stronger guy. He's going to be making a strong uptrend. So that this is how we determine how strong the uptrend is going to be. So zigzag might anticipate a downtrend, but who determines how big the downtrend is or how small it is? It's the market. Actually you might call it the market, but it's actually the awesome oscillators. So as we and infiltration of an indication of green, which is an indication of an uptrend, it pairs with the zigzag had already told you that all this period will be an uptrend. So whenever you get an indication here of a green, the first indication of course of a green, it means that you can see the bar that really happened. It's actually the prices of the market increased drastically, and moreover to come, we had an infiltration moving from the first step to the next step, having two bars, two green bars that are actually also pairing with the zigzag. But at this point, we had kind of a setback, and that's why the zigzag came in, told us that please first wait, there is kind of a setback until I give you another go ahead here that pairs perfectly with this red, green, 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 and this was a perfect market pairing with a perfect zigzag, and they made a perfect uptrend, perfect trend of two bars. And probably in these two bars you must have made more than 20, 30, 40, probably 50% if you are present at the time. In a video to come, I'll be talking about the techniques of entering any trend, such that you shouldn't start with losses, you should start with profits. So stay connected for that video. So you can see the same thing still happens here. Zigzag brings green, who supports him. The green comes in a green market, which is actually perfect. Zigzag green comes in a green market, which is perfect. So this is a clear indication. And if the more greens you have that are supporting the zigzag green here, which is 100, the more the prices are going to increase, and the faster they are going to be increasing. These are the ones that you call the break points or the breakout points, where we have a very or a sharp increase in the market prices. So that's all guys for today. I'll be making another video to complete or to continue for another episode of explaining this strategy. So for now, bye. I'll see you in the next